the lower part of my back, right where your hips are, right in the center. That's a mass of, like broken blood vessels and stuff like that. And it's just always been there.
Okay.
So I'm seeing, and it was from abuse. So it was, a hot poker or a brand or something,
Wow.
And so it's just interesting. You let go of that, but everything's coming around to where when this back heals, it might be healed.
Yeah.
And then Chiron, writing before the 2012 thing, for 2012 and after, says, oh yeah, the ear ringing is part of the change. He said, you're all changing because of all the light that's coming in. Your vibration is increasing.
Right.
So there's lots of head issues and ear issues, but there are skeletal issues like crazy, and people like to attribute it to old age or aging, but that is not what it's about. So it's about going from carbon to crystalline.
It's about going from carbon to crystalline.
Yeah.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means that we have a different makeup. We're made up more of energy and less of the three-dimensional carbon that has kept us at a certain, energy vibration rate. This is just my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not. Makes sense to me. But as our vibration increases, our bodies, I see us getting bigger in many ways, a bigger form of the human. I've seen myself like that
literally taller and bigger.
Yes. Yeah. And some days, and I think I've told you this, some days I feel tall. Some days I will duck underneath a doorway that's 3 foot above me. But I feel it.
It's interesting you say that because I don't see height very well. And I don't tell people that often. Not many people know that about me, because Christine, my wife, is 5'1", and I think she's like the tallest fucking person I've ever met. And part of that's her personality. But my mother was 5 foot. My best friend's like 5'2", and if you ask me how tall they were, and I'm 5'7". So,
oh my gosh.
So you would think I would notice that, but I don't. They seem taller than me or my height. And so I wonder if that's, my perceptions are really wonky, between time and height. And I don't do well estimating distances at all. I've tried to think about how big a football field is and how many yards that is, because I'm trying to come up with something, or the pitcher's mound to the home plate, is 9 feet or something, or 45. I don't even remember what it is. So it's like, I just can't do it. I just, if somebody, in my car, my wayfinder, if it says you're going to turn in 0.5 miles, I have no idea how soon that is.
Yeah. Well, I'm right there with you on that. But, I took Tai Chi for several years in Grand Junction. And my teacher, Mark, would always say, JoAnn, work to your height. And I'd say, I am, because I'd be up here,
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah. So that's real interesting that I didn't think you were that tall. That's how tall my mother was 5'7".
Well, I'm shrinking a bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I have pretty significant scoliosis. And so that's, kind of, so, when I stretch and I'm doing my breathing and stretching on a regular basis, I'm 5'7", but I notice periods of time when I don't do that, I lose some height.
It makes a big difference. I've lost 3 inches over the past I don't know, 5 or 6 years, because I was like 5'3", and now I'm 5.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm being compacted in my gut area. It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it looks like that too, actually. And it's, I don't intend to keep that forever.
Right.
So
We need to hang upside down and stretch.
I know. And at this point in my life, I'm afraid it might break me. It feels like it might be a little much right now, but I've done that lots of times and I love it. I
Yeah,
love
me
the
too.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, I fell out of a tree and because I was stretching and I landed on my shoulder and it
Oh,
hurt so bad that I will admit I peed a little um,
yeah.
when I fell. I think I told you that, I peed my pants a little because when you get old, that's what happens when you're like,
I
whoop.
know.
So I
Yeah.
peed a little and I actually threw up in my mouth a little because it hurt so bad. And then I laid there and I thought, Christine will never notice. She'll just go about her day and I could just die out here. So I crawl into the house and I'm laying on the couch and, she's like, what? I'm like, I might have broke my shoulder. I fell out of a tree. She's like, you're in your 50s. What are you doing in a tree? So, uh,
Oh, that's a good story.
yeah, I
That's
have
a
a lot
good
of
story.
stories, but yeah, it's interesting. But I've been recording now for a little bit. You figured that out?
I did not. I was thinking we ought to be recording here pretty soon. No, that's good. That's good, Marianne.
Yeah, I'll go back and
I
take out
yeah,
names and dates and
yeah. I trust you in implicitly. Is that the right word?
yeah, it works for me. I liked
Okay.
what you were. I started recording because I liked what you were talking about um, with the pain and the history of trauma and holding on to that for so long.
Yeah.
And as much work as we do, many of us do, a lot of therapy around that or journaling or whatever it is we do to free ourselves from those traumas of the past. It always surprises me. They have a way of surfacing just when they need to, and you're like, I thought I worked through that, and yet
Right.
it's a process. It's a process, but still, it's like, really, this much pain again?
Yeah.
Um,
And what surprised me too, and it was a quick clearing. I didn't go into a lot of detail, but I cleared that lifetime and yet still had to figure out, I was given the tools to figure out what some of that abuse was, even though I had no interest in knowing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, if it's the past, it's the past. I'm ready to let go of it at this point.
right. I
But
don't need details.
right, right. And so it wasn't, there was not any emotion with it particularly, but it released that feeling out of my back.
And so, do you think that you're done releasing the trauma of this life we're in now, and do you think that now there might be other lives traumas that you're gonna experience?
No, I think what I've done is finally release. I think that was one big lifetime, and that's big in my life. Native American, white buffalo woman is big in my life. I think that, and I remember I was given the remembrance of a very amazing lifetime out here, one of the happiest lifetimes I ever had.
Wonderful.
And so I was surprised. So it was still in, not, maybe not that particular lifetime, but I've had more than one lifetime like that. But to answer your question, I feel like I've released that lifetime.
Okay.
I think I've got a little bit more to deal with in this lifetime.
Interesting.
And I'm
Okay.
going to add EFT to that today, emotional freedom technique, the
Hmm.
tapping, um, and just go head to head with what I'm really feeling instead of kind of glazing it over.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. And, you know, just to share some of my own journey, actually, this just happened this morning to me. I, when I'm in this state where mentally I'm just not feeling my best, like I said on our last episode, that spiritual, emotional, whatever that is, you know, for many years I called that depression, and reached for medications. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or a good thing. Just for me right now, that's not where I'm at, and I choose to face it head on. And there's some days I wish I had physical pain instead of this pain. Although when I have the physical pain, I'm like, oh God, I wish I had the other pain, you know. So
Yeah, I do know.
so there's this sensation I get, and it's usually as I'm falling asleep and I think my body's relaxing, and it's the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced. And I can't describe it. I can't pinpoint it. It it's a combination of my mind and body and spirit, probably. It's probably all three, but it's like I don't know what it is. It's so uncomfortable. It's just this inner feeling. And so I usually have to either get up and walk or move around or just kind of, and then it goes away. It never lasts too long, but it's just this damn reminder. And I've been having it a lot. And this morning I had it, and I never have it in the morning, ever. And so I got pissed.
Wow.
I got pissed. And I thought, well, come on, get me. You know, let's go. Come on. I'm tired of you chasing me. I'm tired of running from you. Whatever it is, you know, you kind of personify it. And I'm tearing up a bit, so I apologize. But
Don't apologize.
you know, I stepped into it, and it was, and again, I can't tell you what it is. It was so uncomfortable. It's just this feeling, and it was just, and it's a very generalized, pervasive. It's not in a specific spot in my body, because I'm thinking, you know, where is this and what does that correlate with? And it's just awful. And then for a brief moment I stepped through it, and it was like paradise. It was like when I had that kundalini experience, a little different. It wasn't as physical. um, but it was like, oh, this is my block. Somehow it's what's blocking me and holding me here and holding me in certain ways and certain thought patterns and all that. Because when I could walk through it, I'm like, oh, this is paradise. I don't know what else to say. I've got goosebumps
Yeah.
when I think about it. And then I pulled myself back. God damn it. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Damn it. I pulled myself back, but the feeling was gone. Like the negative feeling, the uncomfortable feeling was gone. And I still have the memory of what I saw and felt. And that awareness of, oh, this is that thing that I've created, that I don't know what to call it, but it's my block from.
Well, yeah. Could it be a little bit of a battle between ego and where you're going? You know, you're growing so flipping fast, Marianne. And it's like your ego's like, oh my God, my God, my God, you know, and it makes me think of anxiety even a little bit, to where nothing fits. Nothing fits. Your body doesn't fit. Your feelings don't fit with your body. Nothing is right. Everything's in chaos or something. And it's like you met it on its own terms
Yeah.
and saw, and you know, the light always wins.
And
So you've got to,
it is very much like if anybody's experiencing generalized anxiety where you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling so anxious, everything's going good. But it was even beyond that. So you're right, it's
yeah,
probably on one end of the spectrum of that and has to do with my ego holding on and really not wanting me to, because the ego is very, it thinks it's protecting us, but when it's
right.
that unfamiliar, it doesn't get that that's good for us and that that's ascension, and it's gonna throw out all the stops to keep us in sameness, in the same situation. So thank you, because I haven't really thought it through.
Sorry, I've got something coming up in my throat, but I do want to say one other thing about the ego. There's two different, excuse me, there's probably more than two different viewpoints of that. My viewpoint was exactly as yours is forever. And then I read another viewpoint that said the ego was an experiment to see how well we could do if we had a entity, for a better word, I don't know what else to say about the ego, to keep us separated from our God self.
Right.
Okay, that it really wasn't there in our best interest. I mean, you have to have a little bit of ego so that you don't step in front of a moving car or whatever, but that it was an experiment, and it was perfectly set up to keep us from being who we are. I also heard or read where that has been lifted, but we work out of habit after lifetime of dealing with the same thing in that way, that we haven't totally let it go either, which I notice with mine's alive and well. I just have to constantly say, it's time for you to go now. It's time for you to go now. So I do think that on these days when we're when we're really going forth into who we are, that it is going to express itself in many different ways for every different person, because there is going to be a panic, like a panic attack maybe, or but there's going to be a panic on the side of the ego, I think. And
Yeah.
I look at all your education and everything
It's
that
all
you've done.
ego. That's all
I
ego.
know, but it wasn't anything to piss off either. I mean, it was amazing what you did, and it can be very helpful in what you're doing, because it gives you a lot of different aspects that you come from.
True.
But I can see, but I can also see to where there could be a little bit of a battle.
Yeah. Nicely put. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty amazing that you met it,
Yeah.
that you met up with it.
I was just like, either I'm going to succumb to this and just be a miserable fuck, or I'm going to stand up to it. And I know, you know, people listening to this that feel similar feelings can't imagine stepping into it, what that is like. It's a moment in time. It's a split second that you just let go and step forward into the pain. I don't know how else to say that, because I can hear people going, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? And it's almost an unconscious thing when you do it. I think when you're thinking about it, it's not going to happen, because that's ego, right? So you have
Right.
to remove ego. I've said it before, please release me from my ego. That's my biggest mantra these days. And I think it was in those waking hours when I finally got some sleep, and my ego was not engaged yet, and that feeling came over me that I could do it then, because
Right.
my ego wasn't stopping me from confronting that. So
Right. Yeah. And it seems like when you're a little less drowsy, when you're more on the drowsy side or tired side or something like that, it's easier to release any ego and to go ahead and, you know, and I'm like you, I ask for assistance all the time.
yeah. Yeah. Interesting times.
To say the least. To say the least.
So I pulled Mending.
Oh, wow. That fits everything we've been talking about for both of us.
It's a beautiful card from Wisdom of the Oracle, of course, by Colette Baron Reed. I'm going to read it quickly. And I pulled it in the upright position. Yay! Surprisingly. The essential meaning is forgiveness, making amends, and healing after arguments. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden, or back pain, or mental pain, or on and on. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal: the pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. Can't make this shit up, JoAnn.
No, you can't. That is
Wow.
just simply amazing. And you know, like you said earlier, there are so many people that have to be going through different versions of this
Right,
right now.
right,
You know,
right. Well, how's your throat?
my throat's fine. I think what I'm going to do is kind of a little, it's occurred to me, just a little short activation that maybe people could use when they get in that place where they need to take a stand like you did, and
Yeah,
where they need assistance. So it's going to be short. It'll be something that somebody can just place in their mind.
I
You
like
know,
that a
maybe,
lot.
yeah, maybe have a word that they put with this activation that will instantly put it, bring it back to their mind. And to do that, you just simply tell your higher self, when I say this word, this activation comes into form instantly.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's take a deep breath, deep heart breath for this hard life that we are living now, and fill our bodies. Our bodies are filled with the light of the Christ always. So just see it even amping up, getting brighter and brighter, overflowing out into the world, both your world and the mother in her entirety. You are saturating the mother while saturating yourself, every cell, every atom. So take a breath and see all around you, all of your teachers, guides, angels, and they're bringing you a little package of extra strength and remembering. It's a gift. It's wrapped in a little gift. And this gift can be opened over and over and over again. So as we are crossing this rainbow bridge into paradise, and we trip, or we fall, or we just simply get so frustrated that we lose sight of where we're going, no matter what it is, we can stop and in an instant go in and accept this gift. And this gift, when you open the lid, will be whatever it is you need to bring you up. You will rise up from where you are, and you will remember, if only for a minute, if only for a second, maybe for days, what it is you're accomplishing, what it is you're trying, where it is you're going, and the fact that you are coming into whom you are. So choose a word. Know that you've always got this gift. Always, always. You are never by yourself, and you can get this extra help anytime you need it. And there couldn't be a better time than right now for you to have this extra assistance. Because we are almost over this bridge. So take another deep breath. Seal this activation in your heart. Choose a word to reactivate it whenever you want. And simply know that it is done.
And so it is. Thank you. I feel really full of love and gratitude. I appreciate it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Me too. Namaste, my friend.
Namaste.